If you want to change your life, just like I did, you might be tempted to think that the first thing that you need to do is maybe get clear on your goals or adopt a new mindset. But in my experience, there's one thing that comes before all of that, and when you work on it first, it makes everything else that much easier. So you've decided to change your life. Congratulations. There can be so many reasons why someone would decide to change their life. But after having spoken to other people that have done it, I think that generally people fall into one of two categories. Either they know exactly what they want, but they don't really know how to get there, or they don't know what they want, but they just know that they can't continue as they are. So in both cases, people generally tend to know that a change needs to be made, but they don't necessarily know what to do. Okay, so mindset is important. I'm not going to deny that. You can't really do anything in this life without the right attitude and mindset. But if you know and you've accepted that you need to make a change, then that tells me two things. It tells me that you are aware and you are committed. So if you've got the qualities of awareness and commitment, you can basically deal with any challenges that might crop up as and when they occur. The only initial mindset issue that I think people tend to face is a lack of confidence, and this was certainly the case with me. Maybe a lack of confidence or a fear of the unknown. So people might not have the confidence to, say, leave a job or ask for help or even to try something new. And that is kind of in a way entangled with a fear of the unknown, fear of what will happen when you switch jobs, or fear of what will happen if you suddenly admit that you're not capable of doing something, or fear of what will happen if you try something totally unfamiliar. But I think the fear generally stems from a lack of confidence, because if we're confident that we can do things, then we don't necessarily tend to be fearful of the outcome or of anything potentially going wrong, because we're confident that we can deal with it. Now, the great thing about confidence is that it grows as you try new things, develop your skills. It grows as you overcome challenges. So that means that basically confidence grows as you make progress. So if you do want to change your life, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is in place before you make a change. It's something that you can work on as you are progressing through the journey of changing. So what I'm trying to say is that confidence and mindset can be acquired or even altered on the journey as long as you're willing to take that first leap of faith. So you first have to get your boots on the road, to then know the person that you need to become, to then know the mindset that you need to adopt. So yes, mindset is important, but if you are aware and committed and have a teeny tiny little bit of confidence just to take that first step, then mindset isn't really your first priority. So having goals is important. Again, something I won't deny, because having a vision or something to work towards will give you a sense of purpose and direction. If you don't really know your goals or what it is that you want to do with your life, then you're a bit stuffed, because you've got no sense of direction, nothing to drive you forward, no motivating factors. So that suggests to me that there has to be something that comes before knowing what your goals are. So there's something that precedes knowing your goals in order to get you to a place where you actually know your goals. Now, if you do know your goals, but you don't necessarily know what action you should be taking, then this suggests that you need a sort of compass or maybe some guidelines to help you know which actions to take. Something that can help you make decisions and get you moving in the right direction. In both cases, what you really need to know are your values. You should make understanding your values the priority over mindset or goals or anything else that you might think you need in order to start a new life. Right, so what's the deal with values? Values basically act as a filter. If you value it, keep it. If you don't value it, dismiss it. Understanding your values helps you to cut out things that aren't in alignment with the self. So you can get rid of all of the fluff and anything that's irrelevant for you. It also gives you a really good framework to help you make choices in life. So it tells you what you need to be saying yes to and what you need to be saying no to. As a consequence of that, they also show you how to behave, which then leads to knowing what actions you should be taking. Through taking the time to sit and question what are your values, what do you prioritize in life, what do you appreciate, you can understand what is important to you, you can understand what you find unacceptable, and you can understand what you are prepared to do and not do. So if you're in the position where you know you need to make a change, but you're not really sure what you want to do with your life, your values will show you what you definitely don't want to do, and they will also help you to understand your priorities. So, for example, do you value quality time with other people or connection with family over, say, work and careers? And so when you take away everything that you don't want to do and you begin to get a sense of your priorities and the things that do bring you joy, then you've narrowed down the range of options. So whereas before everything might have been a possibility for starting a new life, now you might say have 10 possibilities, or even less if you're lucky. And then when you mix that in with some inner child work and start looking at the things that you really cared about when you were a child and that really made you happy, then you are well on the way to understanding what life it actually is that you want to create for yourself. If you do know your goal, but you're not really sure how to get there, let's just state the obvious. First, go and do some research and find out if anybody else has managed it, and then can you copy them? But otherwise, knowing your values will show you what you find acceptable, what you find unacceptable, what actions you are actually prepared to take and what actions you are not prepared to take. Just as an example, one of my goals is to help people live better lives, and that is in any way that I can possibly help. I don't really mind whether that's through showing people that they have choices or whether it's sharing things that I've learned. I just want people to live better, happier, and healthier lives. Now, just over a year ago, I got mixed up in the very dark world of life coaching because I was looking for a way to put what I know out into the world and to try and reach people and help them. So I did quite a bit of training and went on several courses with different spiritual gurus. Insert the word charlatan there. In fact, let's just not even get me started on this life coaching stuff because I will go on a rant. If you want to know, leave something in the comments and I can maybe make a video about it, but I don't want to start it now. But knowing my values showed me what I was and wasn't prepared to do. And one of the things that I wasn't prepared to do was to charge them for giving them advice that I would give freely to my friend if we were sat down the pub. So that meant that actually holding life coaching sessions wasn't an action that I could take. And so instead I had to find different actions to help me meet my goals. And voila, one of those actions is YouTube. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but there is a slight problem with values. Actually, it's not a slight problem, it's quite a big problem. So the thing with values is that they are unique and everybody has a different set of values. There is also a really concentrated effort from society through things like social media, for example, to try and impose society's values on you. So we see quite often in the media that society tries to get you to value things that maybe you don't value. So for example, it's constantly shoved in our faces that we should value money and expensive things, and we should value beauty, no matter how fake that gets. Because everybody has these values that are completely unique to them, and then there's a kind of collective idea of what we should value that is imposed on us, it means that people might not even recognize your values, and worse, they might not even respect them. When this happens, it can lead to you maybe modifying your values or even modifying your behavior in order to fit in. So then you've basically fallen back into the trap of living a life on somebody else's terms. So what can we do? How can we protect our values so that we can stay on track and build a life that actually makes us happy. That's where boundaries come in. We exercise and essentially protect and maintain our values by setting boundaries. This is really a two-way responsibility, and the world would be such a better place if people just understood this and respected it. Where boundaries are concerned, if you value something and you want to protect that value, it's your job to set and enforce a boundary. And it's my job to respect that boundary. You see, it works both ways. And sometimes this can be really difficult for people pleasers. So they especially need to understand that because we all have unique values, we really need to vocalize them or express them, because if we don't, then other people don't understand where the line is. And sure, when you commit to your values and set boundaries to protect them, you might lose things in life. You might lose a job. You might see a drop in finances. You might lose friends and family. But I can assure you, your values will definitely tell you if the juice was worth the squeeze. I personally lost a lot of people that didn't respect my boundaries, and their juice was most definitely worth the squeeze. And just remember, the people that mind don't matter, and the people that matter don't mind. So don't fear setting boundaries because you're worried about the loss. Creation isn't linear, it's circular. And so destruction will always come before creation. And of course, whatever is meant for you will be.